This window seat is finished off with a classical look of fluted casing and a raised panel crowning arch. Let me show you how we built this one. Start the arch by drawing the design out on a full-scale pattern board. Play with the shape until you have the look you want. Locate each piece in succession and label them as you go. Identify the arch radius at both the inner and outer edge of the curve. Use this pattern to make each of your pieces. A homemade trammel jig makes quick work of the curved pieces. Mark the outside radius and drill a hole for the fixed point. A cut 16-penny nail works well. Set the router 3/8 inch deep for the first pass and cut all the way through on the second. The cutoff will make the raised panel pieces. Mark and drill a fixed hole for the inner radius. Test the length before completing the cut. Use 2 passes here as well. Place the finished piece on the pattern board. It should fit perfectly. The large arched piece can be test fit as well. The matching radii will make a nice joint. Rough cut the panels to size so they are easier to fit. Work carefully, using the center line as your reference to determine the proper location for each piece. Cope and stick joints will be used for this assembly, so size the panels accordingly. Mark everything clearly to avoid confusion. Trace the cut panel to indicate its location. Use the pattern board to determine sizes for the rest of the pieces. Cut each piece to the exact dimension needed and then verify the size on the pattern board. Once all the pieces are cut to their final dimensions, route the cope and stick joints. Cut all the cope profiles first. They will typically be the ends of your pieces. The centerpiece above the arch is fine-tuned, then route it again to assure an exact fit. Next, reset the router and cut all the stick profiles. Check the fit of each joint. The centerpiece and the top of the arch should mate perfectly. Once glued up, this joint will be invisible. Cut the raised panels next. Although the MDF is messy, it machines easily and makes a crisp edge. Dry fit the routed pieces. Everything should line up to the original pattern. Build a second set for the back side of the seat and glue them together. The arch on the wall shelf is built the same way. Cut and fit all the pieces, glue the center first, then clamp it together. Slide the arched raised panels into the groove, being careful not to damage the edges. A rubber mallet works great to drive these in. Install the other side the same way, making sure the panel seats fully. Finally, glue up the sides and install them. Make sure the ends are flush. Place clamps at both top and bottom. It's all right for the clamps to contact the work because this piece will be painted. When the glue is thoroughly dry and the piece sanded, install it. Attach to the framing with 2-inch nails, placed about 10 inches apart. Attach the fluted side casing next. These were made on site with a router and a 1/2-inch core box bit. Cut them to length, make them flush with the framing, and nail them in. Carefully set any protruding nail heads. These casing pieces define the project, adding character to the classical look. Measure the width of the headpiece and the size of the vertical trim pieces. Transfer those measurements to the ceiling on the other side of the window seat. They will locate the framing that will be used to support the arch assembly. The framing is 12 inches deep and made out of 2x4s. Set it to your marks and nail it with 3.5-inch framing nails. Be sure to leave a full 3/4 inch between the framing and the wall case arch. Install the finished window seat arches, beginning with the back side. Drive it tight to the ceiling with a block of wood and nail it in place. Install the front the same way, making sure the piece is tight to the ceiling. Nail the piece to the framing at both the outer edges and to the lower 2x4.